Today, I'm going to be talking to you about swing trading Bitcoin using the volume profile for this technical analysis. So I believe you're going to find it useful. All right, most of the video series that we're talking about are all contained within the playlist, so all you have to do is just locate that playlist and just follow along, and that should bring you up to speed, especially if this is the first time on my channel. So with that said and done, we're going to go ahead and begin the analysis, and we're going to pick up from where we left off in regards to the analysis that I did roughly around, say, 6 days ago on Bitcoin. Okay, and just so that you know, we pretty much release videos daily, so there's a different asset that we talk about every day up until it starts again on Monday. So with that said and done, we're just going to get straight into it. So just a quick recap on what we talked about in the last video that I did. So in the last video, basically we was looking at Bitcoin, right? In the last video, or the last video of Bitcoin, when we were talking about what was taking place, market was basically heading into this location over here. When I say market, basically I should be saying price, but I just like saying market, so hopefully it doesn't go over your heads. So market price was in this area over here, or was heading into this area over here, and then now it's now moved away from it. So we were right here. So this was the Saturday candle, this one right here, and obviously it came into the zone of the profile of the low value node area, which is derived from this location right here, and then it pushed back up. But because orders are now beginning to fill up in this location, I might actually need to readjust this low value node area a little bit, slightly. So we're just gonna hold it like this for now, and I think so far it looks good. So the first thing that took place, okay, a few days ago, I believe it was on Monday. So Monday we had the push. This was where Bitcoin broke out of the low value node area and began to surge upwards. And if you were watching the video that I did 6 days ago, you would have noticed that I called out this price point right here, which is 102,624.81. So that was the level that I was saying that if price bounced above that level, you could consider taking buys in that location. All right, okay, and then you could have protected yourself with a stop under here. Now, providing you did that, you had that solid close above this location over here, chances are you would not have been stopped out, depending on when you would have done this. So for example, if you entered in on a Sunday, chances are you would have been stopped out. So because I've said that, it's important that we go back down the time frame and we look at the 1 hour, because that will give us a really good idea as to what we need to do and how we need to do it. So for example, if you got in on a Sunday and you took a buy up here, okay, and your stop was just under the low value node area of the volume profile, there is a high possibility that you most likely would have been stopped out because it did peak below it. Okay, but however, volume profile is something that you will adjust as needs be on your own platform itself. So say for example, you drag the volume profile to this area, so you covered this low here and then you pushed it up slightly. Okay, pushed it up slightly, basically meaning for you is that there is still a higher possibility that you would have been stopped out if price came all the way down, which it did. Okay, and had you entered on the Monday after price broke above the low value node of the volume profile, chances are right now you would be profitable. Okay, so we're going to go back into the day because this is a swing trading analysis, so we always look at the higher time frame to help us make decisions. So as it stands now, looking at the candle that I am looking at, we can see that price is still pushing upwards. We are getting a little bit of a pin hammers in this location over here, but however, it looks like price is still pushing upwards. Now, in saying that, it is kind of important that I also say this as well. This trend line that I've put of the descending channel, that is this right here, okay, where we have a fair bit of consolidation going on, we kind of need to start to prepare ourselves, just because we have this push to the upside, that price might actually break above this trend line that I have drawn. If that turns out to be the case, then what we want to do is we want to have this area right here highlighted, and the area in question would be, let me put a little price point on that. Area in question will be 110543.50. okay, now this is not the entry that I would consider, this is not the location that I will consider using as a signal to jump in with longs, because the main one that I will literally be looking for would be a close above the low value area. The low value node, which is this location right here. Okay, that is what I will be waiting for. I would want that taken out, which essentially means this swing high over here, that's the one that will be taken out first. Once that has been taken out, and the swing high in question, just in case you're just listening and not watching, that will be 111865.45, right? So if that level is taken out, I will then expect 112721.72 to be taken out. Once that level has been taken out, it's only at that point I would consider jumping in with buys or going longs. So with that said, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into a lower time frame, the 1 hour, and we're just going to divide up the weeks so that we can find the weekly highs and weekly lows, add them to the chart to assist us with whatever decisions that we're going to be making in regards to whatever price decides to do in this rate in this region over here. Once we have that down, this will give us a really good game plan as to what we need to do and how we need to do it. Another cool thing that I've just spotted is the consolidation we have in this area right here, and that would be, it appears to be some type of descending channel that we have. So that there is a good sign to say that the probability of the levels that I've put on the upside all being taken out. So we definitely want to be mindful of that, and we want to be prepared if that opportunity presents itself. Okay, so you can decide how you want to play this game entirely. You can decide, okay, you want to get in now or you want to get in later. But my best approach, the best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is to be patient and wait for conditions to be met. Once these conditions are met, essentially you can move to the next stage and start taking care of business in the way that you're supposed to, in regards to getting the best possible entry possible, right? If that makes sense. So we're just going to put a little trend in this area just so that we know that we've identified what's going on here. We've actually seen it and we can reference that at some point. Okay, so we have that now. And then now that we have that in place, we're just going to go ahead and look at the weekly highs and weekly lows of the last couple of weeks. So we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so we've got that in place. And then we have Sunday, and we've got that in place. So already we can see here that within the last 2 weeks, actually, as a matter of fact, let me just not say anything about that right now. Let's just keep highlighting the key levels as it stands, and then we'll get into that in a moment. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we're going to head into the last couple of weeks. So this is where we are right now. Okay. And as it stands, we've got a really good trend going right now. We've got a really positive trend going right now. And I think this is going to be super helpful in the coming days. So we have this weekly high, and I'm going to mark out that level as well. And then we have the weekly low, which we would have gotten on the Saturday of last week. Okay, so weekly low of the previous week, so that would be week commencing Monday the 9th of June, was taken out properly on Sunday the 22nd of Saturday the 22nd of June, or maybe it was the early hours. Let me just go in and have a quick look. Yes, early hours of Saturday the 21st of June. My apologies, right? But as it stands, we do not have a weekly high taken out this week, neither do we have a weekly low taken out this week, right? So at this point, it's relatively easy to kind of decide what to do and how to do it. Now, if you can see what we have here in regards to weekly lows and weekly highs, right? What it is that you would notice is that this low value node actually starts to correspond with weekly low over here and weekly low over here, creating this nice little zone that we have that tells us what to do and how to do it. So effectively, this close above the low value node area that we had on the Monday the 23rd of June was in fact a close above the previous weekly low, which was in this location right here, and we can see it happen right here. Okay, so if you go back and you watch all of my previous videos, before we even started really looking into the volume profile, we were using weekly lows and weekly highs as a guide, because I believe this was a solid tool to use to guide us through the market itself. And as we can see, by adding this tool on the volume profile, it too likes to respond to weekly lows and weekly highs in the way that it behaves. So for example, we can see at some point this was a weekly high. This over here was a weekly high, okay? And as we can see, the weekly high, it falls in line with the low value node area. All right, now this is something that I would want you to go and back test on your own and discover these things for yourself, because I think it's really useful, and ultimately it will help you with your decision making and improve your overall trading skills. So with that all said and done, let's go back into what we kind of need to be looking out for this week. So as it stands, unless something really big happens from today and tomorrow, okay, I'm going to assume that this level here is the weekly high, okay, and I would expect that to be taken out at some point next week. So starting from Monday, and then down here, this would be the weekly low. I'm not going to call it out yet because that will be in the next video that I do in 6 days time from now, okay? But these are the two levels that I would say has the highest probability of establishing themselves as the weekly low and the weekly high. It will be this location over here, which we got on a Monday, right? Monday the 23rd, and this location up here, which you got in the early hours of Thursday the 26th of June. So these two levels, if they are taken out, okay, we should expect these levels on the high side that I have drawn out, okay, these levels right here, all to be taken out. And the biggest signal that we're waiting for to help us decide if we need to get in or stay out the market will be this one right here. Okay, so with that said, if you stayed with this video up until now, I definitely appreciate you. So thank you for hanging with me and hearing my thoughts as to how I think Bitcoin is going to be behaving in the coming days and weeks. And I wish you nothing but the best of all your trades moving forward, and I will see you all on the next one.